Today I want to continue talking about some bits and pieces in a book I recently wrote titled Coastal South Carolina Fish and Game, History, Culture, and Conservation. One of the bits that I want to talk about today is Native American hunting and fishing. We know from historical accounts that Native Americans, before contact with Europeans, had a variety of approaches to hunting and fishing. As far as hunting is concerned, they had bows and arrows, spears, they used clubs. As far as fishing is concerned, they used nets, they used traps, and they used poisons. And of course, what I have here in my hand is one of our best indicators we have of how Native Americans went about hunting. This, of course, is an arrowhead, and we can find arrowheads all over North America. They differ in terms of their shape and construction and composition, and all of these traits give some insight into how different tribes used these and traded them. However, what I really want to talk about today is how the role of the Native American as a hunter and fisherman, primarily for food, shifted as a result of European contact. One of the big changes that happened at about 1600 was, of course, the introduction of the gun. The gun was a game changer. And by the late 1600s, Native Americans were being employed by the colonists and planters as guides and as hired hunters. And I want to read you a short passage from the book that sort of describes the process. Deer, which last are so plenty that an Indian hunter hath killed 9 fat deer in a day, all shot by himself, and all the considerable planters have an Indian hunter which they hire for less than 20 shillings a year. One hunter will very well find a family of 30 people with as much venison and fowl as they can eat. Native Americans as hunting guides shifted in the 1700s to a new type of commodity trade, which is known as the deerskin trade. The deerskin trade was fueled by the fact that over in Europe, buckskins or deerskin became fashionable to wear, and the price of deerskins climbed. Native Americans across eastern North America, and particularly in coastal South Carolina, shifted their traditional hunting for food to hunting for a commodity. And it's been estimated that as many as 250,000 deerskins were shipped out of Charleston in a single year at the height of the deerskin trade. As we might predict, such a valuable commodity and such a stimulation of hunting for that commodity caused problems. Deer populations started to decline. Laws were passed to try and regulate it, and at this particular point in time, unfortunately, many of these laws were simply not enforced. And what we see as far as the population trend is deer populations in the United States declined. They continued to decline through the 1800s, and by 1900, deer were nearly extinct. And this set in motion the need for a process after 1900 to restore and rebuild the deer populations. And so the deerskin trade is often described as an important commodity production system that very much changed how Native Americans lived on the land.